Hello, Kalpana. Good to have you. Thank you for joining. So, we'll just wait for a couple of more minutes and allow others as well to join in. But thank you so much, Chiradeep.
Yes,
I hope you are there with us.
yes.
Great. Thank you.
I was just checking whether LinkedIn is doing well and YouTube is fine. इन लोग का हालत थोड़ा देख रहा था मैं. दोनों ही सही है. दोनों ही हम दोनों को डिस्प्ले कर रहे हैं. So we are fine.
Okay, if you say so.
Thank you, Gurpreet. Thank you so much for joining.
And I hope that super excitement that you are showing, we are able to maintain that. And by the end of the show as well, you say that we are still excited.
And she joined for the first time. So I'm very excited she joined. Thank you so much, Gurpreet.
So how was till the time we begin and we allow others to join, we can continue to have a conversation. So interestingly, as we all know, that this time we have to switch to the video podcast instead of the audio podcast. And interestingly, it is because we weren't very happy about it. Not because that we'll be on video, but because we'll not be able to give an opportunity to all of you to come and speak with us, because that used to be our favorite section where we could allow somebody from the audience to come and share their views with us. Since that wouldn't be possible in this video, so I would request, or both of us would request, to continue to have a conversation with us through chat. I hope that's absolutely fine with all of you.
Yes, we have company. Puspa, thank you so much for joining. LinkedIn user, I don't know. The name is not reflecting. Gurpreet, Kalpana.
Yeah, we are sorry because again, as we mentioned, because of the video thing, we won't be able to see all the names, but we
Correct.
know you're there.
Yeah.
So if we are not able to take your name, please understand it's not, if we are not showing any kind of bias, it's just that your name is not being reflected.
And if you want your attendance to be, to let the whole world know that you are present, then you can give a comment. You can leave a comment so that, like Sunidhi, welcome. Very poignant topic today. Yes, it is. And it's great to have you again.
Yes, we are excited, and I guess it's already 8:04 and we should begin.
Yes.
So before we begin, I would just repeat myself here by saying that please continue to interact with both of us through chat, using emoticons, using some or the other icon, whatever feels apt as per the conversation. But please continue the conversation so that we know that it's not just the two of us talking. And in the middle, if you have any question, present teacher. Oh, okay, LinkedIn user says present teacher. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
In the middle, if you people, there is a question or there is something that pops up which you would like to share with us, please start typing, because again, there is a little lapse between the comment by the time they reach us. So please ensure, keep your questions handy and type them as and when you feel right. We would take them towards the end for sure. Over
Okay,
to
so
you.
yeah, Neeti, just to interrupt you, LinkedIn user is none other than our ardent follower, Shahzad. Yeah, I just checked the other application, mobile. So I found his name is reflecting present teacher. Yes.
Welcome, Shehzad.
Yeah. It's 8:05. We should start, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's not keep everyone waiting. Let's begin.
So, hello, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast. Feel it, don't enable it. The line between emotion and action. I am Chiradeep, Patra, and as always, I am thrilled to be joined by my amazing co-host, Neeti Kandhari. We are so excited to have you here.
Chiradeep, I'm sorry to interrupt, but all of a sudden your voice started breaking. I do not know whether it was just for me or for everyone. Though you were audible, but there was a slight lapse.
Okay, I can see that.
So we'll see how it proceeds. But right now it was. Okay.
Probably it's
All
because of
right.
the network. So it's better as we
It's still
continue.
there.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. A very, very warm welcome to each one of you. It feels great to be back in this space after a long break. Though there was no plan for either of us to take a break. It just happened and we went with the flow. But yes, we are back and we are super excited. And first of all, before we begin, wishing you all a fantastic 2025. Also, we didn't realize that we have chosen such an auspicious day. So, wishing all of you happy Makar Sankranti and Pongal, both the festival. So it is an auspicious day, and we are back with a bang on this auspicious day. What more can we ask for? And I really hope that this new year has started on a great note for each one of you. Right.
Yes, a very happy 2025 to everyone. And even if the start hasn't been as cheerful or successful as you expected, we don't know whether it has been cheerful for you, or successful or a little sorrowful. For me, it was slow. But remember, it's just the beginning. There's an year ahead to steer things the way you want.
Absolutely. That was well said, Chiradeep. Fantastic. And this time there are no suspense. The topic is very simple, it's out in the open. And the only concept that we carry with this topic is because it's the beginning of the year and we make a lot of resolutions, a lot of goals. So, this particular topic might help us to make some kind of personal changes or personal evolution as a goal, which again for our own benefit. So that is the only reason we brought up a very simple topic which is there. But I have seen this topic is very close to my heart because this is something I couldn't express in the right way to a lot of people around. I used to observe them, but I couldn't express that what's the gap or what is it that isn't right, that just didn't feel right. But
Exactly.
yes,
Yeah.
now I know what it was, and here we are presenting it and
Yeah.
sharing our own perspective with all of you. Please feel free to share your perspective as well. So, yeah.
It's the same with me, Niti. I also observe people, and I feel for them, as well as I feel that they shouldn't have done this or they should have done this. So let's go ahead with the flow and explore what we have in our mind today, what perspective we have on this particular subject. Growth isn't limited to one area. It spans across professional, spiritual, financial, emotional, physical, and mental spheres. What we will discuss today strengthens one critical aspect: our emotional intelligence.
Yes, absolutely. And to set the tone right, we'll begin with a scenario that might be relatable to most of us. Try and understand the scenario, or it might not be relatable. But I guess the essence would be relatable to most of us. So instead of focusing more on the scenario, let's try and grasp the essence of the scenario.
Imagine this: a person is coordinating a trip for a group of 25 people with ages ranging from 12 to 48. They are doing their best to meet everyone's needs, ensuring the younger ones get extra sleep and the older ones enjoy the early morning explorations. On their way back, they even pick up snacks for the younger group, aiming to avoid delays and keep things running smoothly. Everything seems fine until during sightseeing, the younger ones get hungry again. Snacks are offered, but they are not satisfied. When the group finally sits down for a meal, tensions rise as one person repeatedly speaks up for the younger ones. The coordinator, already juggling everyone's needs, tries to stay calm. But after the third complaint, they snap. Suddenly, the trip's mood shifts. Tears, confrontation, and resentment replace the joy of exploration. Everyone is left wondering what just happened.
So now, what do you think? Could you relate to the situation again? Maybe not to this particular situation, but the essence of it. Have you ever felt emotions get the better of you during a stressful moment? So drop a comment and use an emoji to share how you would have reacted in that moment. So please, as we are repeatedly mentioning, please continue to have a conversation through chat. Now, here in this scenario that Chiradeep just shared with us, the irritation that the person felt was valid. We might get irritated when we are managing and coordinating so many things. But what about the outburst? Was it valid as well? Now, let's think about this. Would we react in the same way while dealing with an infant? Imagine a 6 month old crying relentlessly. So, no matter how much you try to calm the baby down, they just won't. They just refuse. In that moment, we go through whirlwind of emotions. We feel for the baby for sure. We are because that crying after certain point irritates us as well. So there is a little bit of anger that starts boiling, anger, irritation, along with a bit of helplessness, because who likes to see a baby cry? And there's nothing, absolutely nothing that you're able to do about it. So that's why I said a whirlwind of emotion that we are going through. So here we validate, and maybe there is this moment when we have this strong urge to just shout and say, just stop it, stop crying. But we don't. We just don't shout, do we? Instead, we regulate our emotions, take a deep breath, try to figure out what's troubling the infant. We just do not maybe outburst, show our outburst to the child, because we somewhere know that it wouldn't help the child, or he wouldn't even, or the child wouldn't even understand. So we validate not just the baby's feeling, but also their actions, because they are too young to manage them, isn't it? Then what happens when we deal with adults? That's my question to all of us.
Correct,
So
correct.
please answer this using the chat box. Sorry. What happens when we deal with adults?
Yeah. Kalpana writes, when I am emotionally overwhelmed, I first check with someone with a better clarity of thought. Maybe at that particular moment, instead of bursting out as at the drop of hat. Nice.
That is being well aware of our emotions, Kalpana,
Absolutely.
which is good. But maybe I'm assuming that it didn't happen overnight.
Mm,
You might have gone through a process to come to a level where you are able to regulate your emotion and not bring them out in your behavior instantly.
mm.
So, again, please feel free to continue. And thank you for letting us know
Yeah.
the way you regulate.
To add what Neeti just mentioned, with an infant, we instinctively feel for them. no matter the reason. That doesn't mean we stop feeling when we are dealing with grown-ups. But here's the difference. Situation to situation, we often take people for granted. We justify our actions based on our emotions, expecting others to adjust or tolerate our behavior. It's as though the moment someone crosses a certain age, we start seeing their emotions differently, isn't it?
Absolutely. Now here comes another response from Gurpreet. So it happens sometimes. I first accept the situation and be non judgmental, take pause, think, and then communicate with a perspective of solving it. Okay, that's again a good way to handle. Now, as Chiradeep mentioned, that we are expecting others to adjust or tolerate our behavior, or we take people for granted. Now, interestingly, if we just reflect since childhood, we are somehow told ये वाले emotions अच्छे हैं, जैसे to be excited, to be happy, to feel good. These are good emotions, and we are told express. Even we are not even told. When we express them, people don't stop us to do that. We are okay. We are given a free hand to express those so-called good emotions. But as soon as we start feeling angry, agitated, and we try to express those emotions, we are asked to suppress them. ये क्या तरीका होता है बात करने का? बड़ों से कोई ऐसे बात करता है? आवाज नीची करो. इतना गुस्सा किस बात का? So somewhere we are always asked to suppress the so-called bad emotions or sad emotions, isn't it? Or if not suppress, totally ignore them. What no one told us is that emotions are natural and it's okay to feel them differently. फील करना नहीं बताया गया हम लोग को कि इसको प्रोसेस करते हैं, फील करते हैं, दबाते या इनसे भागते नहीं है, क्योंकि ये बहुत ही ऑर्गेनिक और नेचुरल है. सो व्हेनेवर वी आर आस्क्ड टू सप्रेस इमोशंस, that doesn't make the emotions go away. It only bottles them up. And sooner or later, that suppression finds a way out, often through outburst, lashing out, or whatever that time or whatever suits every personality. To each
Exactly,
its own.
exactly,
But
exactly.
never
Yeah,
helps.
yeah, I agree with you. Instead of saying, I feel angry about this situation and I don't know how to handle it, we often let that anger spill over onto others. It might come out as lashing out, snapping at them, or even more extreme actions like aggression. And what's the justification we give? You asked for it. Couldn't you see I was upset? Or you pushed me to behave this way? Right?
So what did we do? Again, I guess the audience, are you there with us? I hope, or we hope that you are there. So here we have, thank you, Josefa. Welcome. You've joined us. We are glad to see you after a long break. So we are also back after a long break, and you are here with us after a long break. We'll get back to your comment, Josefa, but just to continue the flow. Basically, what we are doing is we are projecting our behavior onto others. And we shift the blame instead of taking responsibility. We
Absolutely.
act defensive by saying, तुम्हारी वजह से हुआ. ऐसी हरकतें करोगे तो गुस्सा तो आएगा ही. और किसने गुस्सा दिलाया? We keep hearing such kind of situation that it was not my fault. It was your behavior or something that you said triggered me to maybe to bring out certain kind of XYZ behavior which wasn't fine or which wasn't right. So somewhere, instead of owning my bad behavior, I put it onto others. I project it onto others. So owning up could sound something like, I'm sorry. I didn't intend to behave this way. I should have regulated my anger instead of taking it out on you. But interestingly, that's hard,
Yes,
isn't it?
absolutely.
Feeling an emotion, again, चाहो या ना चाहो, वो इमोशन है, वो आएगा आपके अंदर। आप उसको फील प्रोसेस नहीं करोगे, फील नहीं करोगे, बट वो इमोशन है, मानो चाहे ना मानो। अगेन, बट उसको एक्सप्रेस कैसे करना है, दैट इज द ट्रिक। And to express your emotion in the right way without hurting anyone, that requires courage. As per me, I believe that requires a lot of courage to express कि नहीं अच्छा लग रहा, अभी बात करने का मन नहीं है, या ये बोलना that somehow whatever you said triggered something in me, not your fault, but अभी अगर बोलेंगे ना तो शायद रिश्ता खराब हो जाएगा, और maybe I'll say a little more than what I intend to and not be able to express myself. So let's take a pause here and I'll get. So instead of regulating our emotions, regulating or managing our emotions, we bring them out in our behavior. Expressing is vulnerability, and vulnerability equates to having courage to express. What do you say?
I think vulnerability is something we are neither taught as children nor encouraged to develop in school. You would agree with me. We have been conditioned to behave a certain way, often keeping our emotions aside to fit expectations, as you also mentioned little before, 1 or 2 minutes before. So when we become adults, we sometimes feel entitled to throw our weight around, justifying our actions instead of owning our behavior. Doesn't it feel like a cycle we need to break? I feel yes. What do you think, Neeti?
Absolutely. Till how long are we going to hold others responsible for the way we act? Just because I did not have a good day at work or with my friends doesn't give me the authority to come back and take out that anger on my kids
Correct.
or on my house helps, or for any person. Even when we see a lot of road rage somewhere, the behind the back, because if somebody is driving a car in a bad mood and they are thinking of maybe an argument that they had, घर पे हुआ हो, कहीं ऑफिस में हुआ हो, और वहां पर थोड़ी सी भी रोड पे अगर गलती हो जाए तो ऐसे लैश आउट होता है जैसे दैट्स आवर बर्थ राइट। आई एम सॉरी, इट्स नॉट। I'm sorry. I mean, going through a certain emotion, we completely understand it's validated. Your emotions, when you talk about it, they are validated. But your behavior isn't. We cannot justify our behavior. We just simply cannot justify our behavior saying that, oh, as Chiradeep mentioned, that it happened because of XYZ reason,
Yeah.
isn't it? And when we see any of our loved ones going through rough time, our instinct is to be their biggest support. We act defensively on their behalf just to let them know, you know what, you got my back, and I understand, I feel you, I understand, and I'm there for you. But what happens when that same person, instead of appreciating that support, starts acting out? They don't work on addressing their emotional needs or healing, and instead they begin to take us for granted. So, again, understand the scenario when you are continuously being that support system for any of your family member, hoping that maybe with this particular support, they'll be empowered to take a stand for their own self and do something about it. Instead, what they do is continue to throw their weight on people around, take your support for granted. How would you feel about it? Again, please use the chat box, express your views on how would you feel about it. And is this the right thing that when somebody is supporting us, should we utilize that time because we have a support system, we are not alone. क्या करना चाहिए उस टाइम, उस सपोर्ट सिस्टम का साथ लेके अपने आप को एम्पावर करके अपनी उन वीकनेसेस पे वर्क करना चाहिए, या उनको फॉर ग्रांटेड मान के और अपने इमोशनल ट्रॉमा से भागना चाहिए? क्या करना चाहिए? प्लीज go ahead, use the chat box. We are waiting to read what you say.
We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, of course.
I know we both are missing our audio podcast, but whatever we have in hand, so we can use it. So please comment. We would love to see your comments and your suggestions, your perspectives. How have you dealt with similar situation? As Neeti asked us, drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts. Use an emoji if you have ever felt unappreciated in such moments. It's always good to use the support system, but some phrases that actually kill the entire purpose are
So if you are reading the comment, Chiradeep, please go ahead and read 𝗓𝘗𝗧's previous comment as well.
yeah. 𝗓𝘗𝗧's previous comment was, I have realized with time that when you are overwhelmed, you might want to feel all the emotions, and that can happen better when you are just with yourself. I do that when I feel like crying during tough days. My pillow knows a lot of such stories. Wow. Yes. And probably, if I still writing,
It's okay, we can continue till then.
yeah. It is sad when we validate emotions. We are essentially saying, I see you, I hear you, and what you feel is real. The saddest part is when we these emotions are taken or taken for granted, or are unappreciated, or they have been suppressed. I really like one word called harnessing. I always say harness your emotions. I have always suggested people to harness, never suppress it. Harness your emotions.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah. And actually, when we say something like I see you, I hear you, and what you feel is real, this builds trust, empathy, and connection. It makes people feel understood and safe to express themselves. And to read out what to continue with 𝗓𝘗𝗧's comment, he says it's always good to use the support system, but some phrases that can kill this purpose are, I thought you would understand. Yeah. I thought you will always be there, but looks like I am being judged. You will never know what it feels like to be in my place. Absolutely. What do you think, Neeti? What's your comment on this?
I would prefer to because if I start commenting on this, I'll
Yeah,
again start I'll be judgmental here.
I understand.
Because yes, absolutely, Josefa, this is, it kills the entire purpose. I completely get that. And
Mm,
I wouldn't say that the person who's doing it is doing intentionally,
correct.
but somewhere they are, as you mentioned in your previous comment, spending time with your own self. This is where the person is missing out greatly. When we are not able to, or we just don't sit with ourselves and
Mm,
understand what is going within us,
mm,
that's when Whatever people do, we just think that that's our right. This kind of support we must get, so they're not doing any favor. And of course, it's not about favor. Does a favor to the other person. We do it out of our love and our concern, but at the
Yes.
same time, that doesn't mean that our love and concern go in a should not go in the right direction. So the reason we are giving support is because we want to see the other person happy. We want to see the other person evolve and empowered. But if we see the flip side of it,
Mm,
where we still see the person acting an escapist, still
mm,
see that he's unable to regulate his emotion and everything is coming out in action, then
mm,
that's where we need to take a call whether we want to continue to support or we need to channelize it in some other manner.
mm, mm.
So there's Kalpana has also commented, I have experienced it. I would keep the person anonymous. She would discuss at length her issue. After a point of time, I feel that I am at loss of words or solutions because she would circle back to the same position. There's no change. I want to help her wholeheartedly, but at some point, I feel she isn't ready to acknowledge the issue at hand. Absolutely, Kalpana, this is so relatable. Now, again, such people, whoever, or maybe at times we also might do certain things which we might not realize. The only point that we want to, together, all of us, I guess, want to convey is emotions are fine, but the behavior is not. Currently, if I actually express that, look, today I had a bad day, so whatever I say right now, please understand that it is nothing personal. Let us vent out for a while, then maybe I'll be in a sane mode to have a conversation. Either I give this disclaimer to the person with whom I'm talking to, if I can. Instead, I can just take a break. First of all, do whatever I want to. I want to deep breathe. I want to meditate to relax myself. But expecting people to tolerate our behavior is unacceptable. Let's not do that. And here, when we talk about validating by listening or hearing someone out, validation doesn't mean that we have to agree with someone's emotions. So, for instance, if someone is angry, we don't have to share their anger, but we can acknowledge their experience by saying, I can see why you would feel that way. Now, I can see that. I know what you're going through. I acknowledge that, but doesn't mean I have to reciprocate the same thing for them, right? What do you say, Chiradeep?
Yeah, sometimes I have faced, I mean, with close people, they ask, did I do the right thing? They will ask, did I feel it correctly? Don't you think that I should have felt like this? So, I find myself in difficult situation because I can see that I don't want to say that I'm judging but I can see that it's not right. Yet I am unable to say it's not right. You know that in that position, I said, I understand how you feel. I understand how you feel. You are angry because of this, which is fine. If you are expressing that, if that emotion is coming out, which is fine. I acknowledge that emotion. Okay. Now about the behavior, when you calm down, you check it out. I'm sure when you are normal, you will definitely can in a position to decide whether it's the right behavior or the wrong behavior, and eventually they understand. We all do that. We all do that. We regret. I shouldn't have done this in anger. I shouldn't have thrown that cup in the dustbin. We do that. Yeah. So there is one more comment from Josefa. Should we take it now or?
Of course,
Yeah.
please.
Instead of expecting, Josefa continues with what he said previously. Instead of expecting people to know what you are feeling and taking them for granted, you must strive to tell them how exactly you are feeling. Okay. or at least strive to just know how to ask for some time to process and then express your feelings. It makes
Things clear for the other person as well.
okay, okay. The full comment didn't come here, displayed here.
It's
Okay.
okay.
It makes things clear for the other person as well. Yeah, there is one more, Samir Kumar Patra. Thank you so much for joining. It's not possible with everyone, most difficult, but regular practice can help. I agree.
So again, for Josefa, so when we say that's what we said, that
Mm.
that is being vulnerable.
Mm.
Vulnerability requires courage. Not everyone can do that.
Yes,
And we
yes.
are not even asking or expecting people to be vulnerable and bring out. If you are not able to, we understand, we acknowledge. So when we are acknowledging that you are unable to be vulnerable, at the same time, people also need to acknowledge that they cannot through their behavior. If we are
Mm.
not able to regulate our emotion,
Mm.
accept it. We are not able to express our behavior, accept it.
Mm.
But your behavior isn't. If you are not able to express your emotions, that is also accepted. But your behavior isn't. Your behavior isn't. Lashing out at people just because I'm upset, making everybody dance in the party, or just asking everybody to party with me because I am excited. I am sorry. I need to behave in a way which is acceptable socially as well. When I say socially, I'm not even talking about gatherings, I'm talking about my family environment.
Mm. Mm.
While saying this, I go back to my childhood when I know it could be relatable to most of us, where we were asked to just be quiet. पापा का मूड अच्छा नहीं है,
Mm.
डांट
Mm.
पड़ जाएगी हमको क्योंकि पापा का मूड अच्छा नहीं है. टीवी की आवाज कम करो क्योंकि पापा का मूड अच्छा नहीं है.
Mm.
I mean, as kids, till
Mm.
now I see they are being asked to behave in a certain way as per the mood of the elders in the family.
Mm.
Because elders cannot, I would, it again, it's not being biased, it's just maybe household scenarios where if people are not able to regulate their own emotions, don't expect the entire environment to revolve around you as per
Mm.
your emotion.
Mm.
अपनी इमोशनल नीड्स और रिक्वायरमेंट्स को वी नीड टू बी केपेबल इनफ टू फुलफिल आवरसेल्व्स.
Mm.
अगर हम लोग केपेबल नहीं हैं, देन वॉइस इट आउट, टेक सपोर्ट, बात करो, सपोर्ट लो. ये एक्सपेक्ट करो कि अगल बगल वाले सारे के सारे हमारे हिसाब से डेयर करेंगे. नहीं करेंगे. और एक्सपेक्ट करना भी गलत है. एंड समवेयर आई बिलीव वी हैव ऑल बीन देयर, haven't we? Again, please show us some like use some emojis and tell us. Even when
Or
we
just
are
say,
feeling,
or just say yes or no.
oh yeah, please go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. Please go ahead, Niti.
So even when we are feeling down, it's
Mm.
easy to become that extra sensitive and interpret everything around us as negative.
Mm.
So instead of communicating our feelings, we let misunderstandings build. We often do it because we are not in the right mindset to process. So छोटा सा छोटा मजाक भी खराब लग जाता है just because I am not in a good mood.
Mm.
I am becoming sensitive. So हर एक remark को personally लेके we somewhere ruin the relationships,
Mm.
isn't it?
Mm.
So that's this is a very simple point that we want to convey. Though I am using the word simple, conveying through words is simple. And I do not even know whether both of us are able to express and bring out the essence that we want to convey. So please do let us know that as well. But the point, this the maybe bringing it out in our behavior change might take a little while. But if we feel it is essential, let's try and work on it, is the point that we are trying to convey. What do you say, Chiradeep?
You were right. But here's where it gets tricky when emotions start translating into behavior. things can uh, quickly get complicated. The key is to regulate those emotions, because when we do, we are better equipped to manage our behavior. I think we have already mentioned it previously, isn't it?
Yes.
And like, and in those moments, the people around us are left confused, unsure of what they have said or done to upset us. We weren't always taught how to express our emotions clearly. But now that we are aware, we can take control and make the changes we need. Changes.
Now,
I mean, if we are in the
so
new
when we
year,
talk about,
sorry,
yes,
you're saying something. Yeah, tell
please,
me.
please go ahead. No, no, please go ahead.
I mean, if we are talking about changes, it should start from us. Like, okay, so this is the new year. It's a perfect time.
New Year resolution time, the time to bring
No
change.
resolution, because I don't believe in resolution. It never. We don't continue it. But yeah, we should achieve this milestone. Instead of to-do list,
We should
let's make it tada list. Yeah.
And
Tada.
interestingly, I always believe that every day is a new year. So every day
Absolutely.
is a new beginning.
Yeah.
So whenever we believe that we want to change, that becomes a new year for us, isn't it?
Mm.
So now, having said that, change is never easy. It never was, it never is, and it never would be.
Absolutely.
But definitely, it starts with small steps. Recognizing our emotions, making conscious choices about how we act on them. Now, how we act on our emotions is an important element. The people who support us, our cheerleaders, aren't here for us to take for granted. They deserve our appreciation, not to be treated as punching bags only for our unregulated emotions. Let's really understand again, if starting of the year, as we are repeatedly saying, that if there are people whom you know are your cheerleaders and you have not gone back and thanked them for their presence, because somewhere you know that it is because of their presence you've been able to come a long way, or maybe you're just able to express yourself or be who you are today. Please take a moment to thank them as well, because they deserve that appreciation for being your punching bags at
Mm.
times, isn't it?
Mm.
And understand that again, I know we have been repeating it a lot. Whatever your emotions are, process it, understand it, sit with them, and your behavior shouldn't ever be influenced or emotion. So let's keep two things absolutely different. This is what I feel, this is how I act. So there shouldn't be a connection that ruins my behavior because of an emotion that I go through. So that's what we wanted to share as we wrap up. Please start putting your comments, questions, or feedback in the comments below. We would love to hear how you're planning to implement today's insight. And as we are saying it repeatedly, we are missing bringing you along, listening to your questions, answering, having that conversation. We just are missing that. But I do not know. This is the new LinkedIn of 2025, and we'll have to go. Maybe all of us collectively are going to give a feedback to LinkedIn to bring our audio podcast back.
Yeah.
That might work. But yes, this is what, please, before we close, we would love to hear your questions if there are any feedbacks or comments, whatever. Please utilize.
Yeah. We can start a campaign and plead with
Absolutely. We need.
LinkedIn so that the audio live will be back. But it's okay. As people, as our audience is, I mean, those who are present here, as they write their comments and ask questions. Thank you, Kalpana. She says, love the discussion. Thank you for your support. Thank you, Gurpreet. Thank you, Deepashri. Welcome. She says, practice responding and reacting. Okay. Uh,
Responding than react.
yeah, yeah. So as we wrap up, here are a few takeaways for today or tonight, I can say. Emotions, number one is emotions are valid, but that doesn't mean our behavior should be based solely on them. It's important to recognize and regulate our emotions before they influence how we act. Very important. Number two, accountability for behavior is key. We can't use our emotions as an excuse for actions that hurt others. It's about owning how we react, even when we are feeling overwhelmed. Last not the least, the third one, awareness and reflection. Recognizing and understanding our emotions can help us make conscious choices in how we respond, ensuring we nurture our relationships rather than damage them.
So let's remember it's okay to feel, but let's also take responsibility for how we express those feelings. Small changes in how we manage our emotions can lead to more positive and connected interactions. So please, let's take that responsibility of our actions. Let's own our reactions and responses as well. It's not because of someone else that we behave in a certain way. The way we behave tells more about our own self, not about the other person. So let's not pin it down on the other person. Let's try and keep our emotions and our behavior into separate categories. Yes. So here are certain comments. Love the discussion by Kalpana. Pushpa says it was insightful. I could relate to many situations. We are so glad to hear that, Pushpa. Thank you so much. These comments motivate us because we actually bring out scenarios from our lives. So whatever scenarios we share on the podcast are not made up scenarios, are not AI generated scenarios, are the scenarios that we observe or we have been through in our lives. Josefa says, lovely conversation. Behavioral modification is a lovely insight that I have taken back and wish to implement. Great show, Chiradeep and Neeti. Keep it up. Thank you, Josefa. You know that your comments, your feedback mean a lot to both of us. So thank you so much. Sameer says, excellent discussion. Gurpreet, lovely conversation, totally relatable, and kindly arrange some discussion for work life challenges for freshers. Okay, Sameer will get back. So, here, Sameer, thank you for this. And as we keep saying and we keep requesting that if there is something that you want support from either of us, please feel free to drop a message to either of us because both of us are coaches. So if there is some personal support that you want, any one of you rather, please feel free to ping us. And if there are topics that you want us to cover in these podcasts, you are more than welcome to drop those topics as suggestion. We definitely are going to take them. So some discussion for work life challenges for freshers. Samir, we would want you to maybe again DM either of us elaborating what exactly do you mean by this, and for sure we take up this topic. So we
Yes,
will be requiring a little elaboration on what exactly do you mean, because work life challenges are huge.
huge.
So which direction would you want us to take this discussion? So please do let us know.
And you
Yeah.
should know why Niti is asking for your suggestions, because we brainstorm, and we do a lot of hard work finding out what topic we should be bringing up. So it will be absolute delight for us to receive prompts from you, and we will be chat gpt for you. You give the prompts and we will give you the results.
So
And
at, So I would like to clarify when he says that we do a lot of hard work, we actually deep dive into our own selves. That
Absolutely.
what is it that we have gone through in our lives. So whatever topics that we have covered till date are very personal to either of us or to both of us. So there are no topics that we take up which are non-relatable to either of us. So now I guess we have completed how many, 12 or 13 podcasts, Chiradeep?
This is the 12th one.
The 12th podcast. So
We
we
did
have
11 last year.
so
So, yeah,
12th podcast together. That means we have brought 12 live scenarios of our lives in front of all of you.
absolutely.
So we'll have to go back to our childhood now because we can't think of more scenarios in our lives. So that's
Yeah.
the reason we are asking for support. Something that's relatable, something that you know is bothering, even if there is something that's bothering repeatedly, but you do not know how to express,
Mm.
give us a call, talk to us. We'll give it a name and we'll take here as a discussion that might and we'll bring various perspective on this platform that might help you and understand confidentiality is the key. We have never ever named any of our client and we'll continue to do that. So you will remain anonymous, but your topic would be here being discussed,
Thanks for
right?
tuning in, all of you. We hope today's discussion sparks some reflection and helps you navigate the fine line between emotion and action. And I can't stop fiddling with those good comments and appreciations from Gurpreet, Kalpana, and Samir, Josefa, Puspa. Thank you so much. I mean, after the session, probably I will keep reading all those beautiful comments and feel happy that yes, we have done something good in the new year to begin with this year. Thank you so much, my co-host, and thank you all of you. Good night.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Good night, sleep well, and until next time. So we'll see you maybe next, the alternate Tuesday, not the coming Tuesday, but the next Tuesday. So hope to see
yes.
all of you again with a new topic, with a new discussion. So yeah, thank you so much for joining in. And towards the end again, wishing all of you a happy Makar Sankranti and Pongal.
Bye
Good
bye. Good
night.
night.
Take care.